couldn't sleep. Not after what happened at the ancient burial ground. The image of that giant, its cold black eyes staring into my soul. The way it moved like something not bound by the same rules as us. The way it had commanded those dogmen, and the way Bo and his father fought like they were born for it. Guardians, protectors, but protectors from what? There was too much I didn't understand. Too much that felt bigger than just our family. Abigail tried to comfort me when I finally got home. She cleaned and dressed my arm, telling me over and over how glad she was I was safe. Bo wouldn't leave my side, his massive form hunched beside my chair, dark eyes never leaving the window. Even his presence, as comforting as it usually was, couldn't shake the feeling gnawing at the back of my mind. After a few days, I couldn't stand not knowing anymore. I needed answers, and I knew just the person to ask. There was an old man who lived on the reservation outskirts, a respected elder named Chief Samuel Black Elk. I'd seen him a few times at the feed store, heard stories of his wisdom and his knowledge of the old ways. People spoke of him with a kind of reverence, saying he could see the truth in the world, even the parts hidden from most eyes. If anyone knew about the creatures roaming the mountains, it was him. The next morning, I loaded up the truck and made the drive out. The reservation was quiet, the air crisp with the morning chill. I parked near a small house surrounded by dream catchers fluttering in the wind. Feathers danced in the breeze, and the faint smell of sage lingered in the air. As I approached, Samuel was already on the porch, sitting in a worn wooden chair, carving a piece of wood. His dark eyes met mine, calm and piercing. It felt like he already knew why I was there. "Mr. Silva," he greeted without looking up from his carving. "I had a feeling you'd come." I nodded, unsure how to begin. "Chief Black Elk, I need answers." He gestured for me to sit. I took the steps up and lowered myself onto the porch. He didn't rush me, just kept working on the carving. I couldn't help but notice the precision of his hands, despite the years etched into his knuckles. "I've seen things," I finally said. "Things I can't explain. Creatures, giants, dogmen, Bigfoot." Samuel nodded slowly, like he'd been expecting this. He set the carving down and looked out at the mountains, the same way Bo did sometimes, like he was seeing something beyond what was visible. "This is ancient land," he began, "older than you or I can imagine, and it has always been a place of balance, light and dark, peace and war. And those creatures you speak of, they've been here as long as the trees and rivers." "What are they?" I asked. "And why are they fighting?" Samuel turned to me, eyes hardening. "Once, long ago, my people and the Bigfoot, what you call Sasquatch, or Bo, lived in harmony. They were guardians, protectors of the land. We worked together to keep the balance, but not all of them remained on the path of peace." I looked at him with confusion. "How do you know about Bo?" Samuel looked at me with a knowing smile. "I know everything that goes on in these parts, especially when it comes to the otherworldly. When you take a step into that world, it doesn't go unnoticed. You fought beside him. That alone tells me much." I didn't know how to respond. He wasn't just guessing. He knew. And it wasn't just from gossip. Samuel continued, the lines on his face deepening. "There were those who turned away from their duty, corrupted by evil. Their eyes changed, blood red, their fur darkened. They teamed up with dogmen and other dark beings, giants, wendigos, twisted cryptids. They became creatures of chaos, No longer protectors, but destroyers. I had a flashback, remembering the look in that giant's eyes. "You're Bigfoot," Samuel continued. "He is one of the good ones. A protector. But there are others, darker, twisted cousins, who fight for dominance. These corrupted Bigfoot radiate evil. And once you see them, you'll know. There's no mistaking the hate in their eyes." I nodded, digesting it all. The giant. It looked human, but wasn't. It controlled the Dogmen. Samuel's expression darkened. Nephilim, descendants of the ancient giants. Some survived the great floods. They are cunning, cruel, and they see this world as theirs to reclaim. They command the Dogman and the corrupted Bigfoot. And now, they know you. My heart pounded. "You're part of this now, Clay. Your scent, your presence, by fighting alongside the good Bigfoot, you've declared yourself an ally. They will come for you and your family. You can either leave these lands or join the fight." I didn't hesitate. "I'm not running. I'll fight." Samuel's lips curled into a slight smile. "That's what I thought you'd say. There's a group of my people who still honor the old ways. Warriors who team up with the good Bigfoot to patrol the lands and protect against the corrupted. I'll introduce you." The next week, I met them. 4 men, all tough as nails, armed to the teeth. Each one had that quiet confidence that came from surviving the impossible. They called themselves the Guardian Unit. Leading them was Daniel Two Crows, a man with scars across his face and an intensity in his eyes that told me he'd seen more than his fair share of nightmares. Beside him were Mikey Running Wolf, Tom Iron Elk, and Jesse Whitebear. They were no strangers to the cryptid war. That night, Samuel spoke with them and me around a small campfire. He told me of the latest threat, an evil Bigfoot that had been seen deep in the woods, dragging off people from nearby campsites. When they were found, weeks later, their bodies were mutilated beyond recognition. The authorities labeled them animal attacks. But Samuel knew the truth. "It's not just the Bigfoot," Daniel said. "Dogman sightings too. Something's stirring them up. We need to find it and end it before more people die." Bo and his father stood at the edge of the camp, listening. I knew they understood. Bo's father gave a low, rumbling growl, one that Daniel nodded to in respect. "I'll go with you," I said, and the others didn't protest. "You can shoot?" Mikey Running Wolf asked. I just gave him a look that made him grin. We set out at dawn. The sky was blood red, the wind colder than usual. I had my 2 rifles, my sidearm, and enough ammo to last a battle. The unit moved like shadows, silent. Bo and his father followed from the trees, always watching. We trekked deeper into the forest, beyond the burial ground. The air grew thicker, colder. The ground changed, softer, like something rotted just beneath the surface. After hours of walking, we found the first sign, a massive footprint, too large to be Bo's. The edges were still soft, recent. Suddenly, the smell hit us like wet fur and rot. Jesse gagged, covering his mouth. "We're close," Daniel whispered. We moved in a tight formation, rifles up, eyes scanning the trees. Bo and his father stayed to the shadows, their massive forms blending in with the dense forest. Then, just ahead, we heard it. A growl, not deep like a dogman, but rougher, more guttural. The kind of sound that made your instincts scream at you to run. We moved forward, slow and cautious, and that's when we seen it. The dark shape moved between the trees, massive, hunched, and darker than the shadows around it. Blood-red eyes glared at us through the branches. Something else stepped out beside it, a dogman, but the real horror came next. From the thickest part of the woods stepped something I couldn't comprehend. A hybrid, something that looked like a cross between Dogman and Bigfoot. It stood there, hunched and massive, its presence like a nightmare dragged from the darkest parts of the forest. The hybrid was grotesque. Its fur was a tangled mess of coarse, dark hair, almost black with streaks of gray. The body was built like a Sasquatch, thick, muscular, towering, but the head and face were unmistakably Dogmen. It was taller than Bo's father, but leaner, built for speed and brutality. It moved like a beast that had adapted both strength and agility, its movements unnaturally fluid for its size. Its muzzle was elongated, lips pulled back in a snarl that revealed jagged teeth dripping with saliva. Bloodshot red eyes glared at us with a fury I'd never seen before. Massive clawed hands hung low to the ground, and its legs were muscular but bent backward like a wolf's, giving it a predatory stance. The muscles rippled under its matted fur, and its claws scraped against the ground as it crouched, preparing to lunge. A sense of pure malevolence radiated from it, like it didn't just want to kill, it wanted to dominate, to tear apart anything in its path. I felt a chill crawl up my back as its gaze locked onto mine. The evil Bigfoot to its left let out a rumbling growl, while the Dogman bared its fangs. Daniel swore under his breath. I've heard stories about hybrids, but I didn't think they were real. The hybrid dropped onto all fours, its movements unnervingly wolf-like. It sniffed the air, its massive chest rising and falling with each breath. The beast's red eyes never left us, calculating and predatory. I could feel the tension in the air, so thick I could almost taste it. "Clay, get to cover," Daniel hissed. I scrambled behind a fallen log, raising my rifle and lining up the scope. The hybrid let out a scream that was a mix of a howl and a roar, a sound that rattled my bones. The combination of the Dogman's ferocity and the Sasquatch power created a noise that was both unnatural and terrifying. It moved like a black blur, rushing straight for Bo. Bo braced himself, planting his feet and roaring back. Just as the hybrid lunged, Bo sidestepped and struck it across the face with a brutal backhand, but it didn't even slow down. The hybrid spun, using its momentum to slash at Bo's side with one of its massive claws. Bo roared in pain, blood splattering the ground. Bo's father charged the Dogman, grappling with it, while the evil Bigfoot circled around, looking for an opening. I fired at the evil Bigfoot, hitting it in the shoulder. It snarled and turned on me, but before it could charge, Bo's father lunged, knocking it off balance. The hybrid was relentless. It circled Bo, darting in and out with lightning-fast strikes. Bo managed to catch it by the arm, twisting hard enough to break the bone, but the hybrid didn't react to the pain. It sank its teeth into Bo's shoulder, tearing at the flesh. Daniel fired, hitting the hybrid in the back. The beast didn't even flinch. "Shoot the joints," Mikey shouted. "Slow it down." The Guardian units spread out, firing in controlled bursts, aiming for the creature's knees and elbows. One bullet caught the hybrid in the knee, and it stumbled just enough for Bo to land a heavy blow to its head, sending it skidding backward. Bo's father let out a roar of warning, and I saw why. A second Dogman was rushing in from the trees. Jesse barely had time to react before the creature tackled him, clawing at his chest. Bo's father moved like a boulder, smashing into the Dogman and sending it sprawling. The hybrid didn't stay down. It leapt back to its feet, shaking off the hit like it was nothing. Bo took advantage of the momentary pause to scramble up a nearby tree. He climbed high, moving faster than I'd ever seen, and positioned himself on a thick branch. Bo's father saw what he was doing and did the same on the opposite side, climbing another tree, their movements mirroring each other. The hybrid, unaware of the ambush, focused on Daniel and Tom, who were laying down suppressive fire. Then Bo jumped. He crashed onto the hybrid from above, both hands clasped together like a sledgehammer, driving the creature face first into the ground. The hybrid screeched, thrashing wildly, but Bo didn't let go. He wrapped his massive arms around its neck, trying to choke it out. But the hybrid didn't fight fair. Its body contorted unnaturally, bending backward to slash at Bo's face with its claws. Bo reared back, momentarily stunned. The hybrid broke free, and just as it was about to retaliate, Bo's father dropped down from the other side, landing squarely on its back. The force drove the hybrid to its knees. Seizing the opportunity, I took aim and fired at the creature's other knee. The bullet punched through, and the hybrid howled in pain, its leg buckling. "Keep it down," Daniel shouted, but the hybrid wasn't giving up. It clawed at Bo's father, landing a brutal hit to his ribs, forcing him to let go. It whipped around, its bloodshot eyes fixing on me. The evil Bigfoot made another charge, but Bo intercepted it, tackling it to the ground and raining down blows. The hybrid saw its ally struggling and let out a sound that almost resembled words. A deep, terrifying rasp that seemed to command the evil Bigfoot to retreat. The Dogman that had attacked Jesse was already dead, its skull caved in from Bo's father's brutal fists. But the hybrid didn't seem concerned. It locked eyes with me, teeth bared. All of a sudden, a sound came from the tree line. A different roar, one deeper, almost hollow. The hybrid froze. The evil Bigfoot snarled in confusion. A massive shape appeared. Another Sasquatch, older, grayer. Bo's father growled, recognizing it. The new Sasquatch stared at the hybrid, as if daring it to make a move. The hybrid hesitated, then made a decision I didn't expect. It howled, a long, mournful sound, and the evil Bigfoot responded, both of them retreating into the forest. We didn't chase. We couldn't. The battle had taken its toll. Bo was bleeding from several deep cuts, and his father was nursing a bruised side. Daniel and Mikey checked on Jesse, whose chest was clawed up but still breathing. "That thing," Tom muttered, shaking his head. "What the hell was it?" "A mistake," Samuel's voice came from behind us, calm and grave. He had followed the sounds of the fight, arriving just as it ended. A creation of darkness, a merging of two evils. I didn't think it was possible. I leaned against a tree, my arm throbbing. It wasn't natural. It was like something made it. Samuel nodded. There are those among the Nephilim who experiment fusing beings to create something more deadly. We thought it was just a legend. Seems we were wrong. Bo limped over to me, his eyes full of concern. I gave him a tired smile. "You did good, big guy. Real good." The older Sasquatch that had appeared moments before lingered at the edge of the clearing, sharing a glance with Bo's father. There was no hostility between them, only respect. Daniel cleaned the wound on Jesse's chest, muttering about how lucky we were that thing didn't tear us all to pieces. I couldn't help but agree. The hybrid. It was something entirely new. Something we weren't ready for. "We need to regroup," Samuel said, his tone serious. "If they can make hybrids like that, we're dealing with more than just scattered evil. This is organized. The forest settled back into uneasy silence. The scent of blood still hung in the air. Bo sat beside me, exhausted but vigilant. His father stayed close, keeping watch. I knew it wasn't over. Not by a long shot. The hybrid had gotten away, and I had the sinking feeling we'd be seeing it again. Stronger, more dangerous than before. As we made our way back to camp, I couldn't shake the image of those red eyes. The way they stared at me, almost as if they knew me. This war wasn't just about the land anymore. It was about us, and we weren't done fighting. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to Descent into the Unknown for more horror content. If you have any real cryptid encounters, or you're a horror writer wanting to share your stories, please feel free to email me in the description anytime.